1, 2, 3.
Do it.
Oh, go girlfriend. I'm your mother. Come on, Thorny, you're losing to the rookie. It's embarrassing. Come on, Rabbit. You can do it. Oh, Rabbit, he's killing you. I got Thorny in front by a lot. What's the matter? Your mama didn't teach you how to chug? Come on, Thorn. Come on, Thorn. Oh.
God damn it. I am all that is man.
This is episode 4 of the Safe Space Podcast. My name is Paul Zico, Dinosaur Hunter. With me is Miles Harrington.
I am, in fact, Miles H. I did, in fact, go to Eastern Europe seeking the safe space experience away from you assholes. Didn't really work out. Didn't even have a Captain America, so I came back. Sorry, guys.
It's very heartbroken. Adam Marino.
After that, I don't know what else to say. I am here. Let's do this.
Juan Cordero.
Yo no te perdono que lo haga tu madre.
I think that one was for his homies. All right, guys. Topics today for this week. We were at some Trump rally, Bernie rally, and we've got a movie review coming up. But first, we've got a pretty good prank story to talk about, right?
We do indeed. So, the night before we went to said Trump rally, the 3 of the 4 of us went over to Paul's brother's Dave's, and we wanted to hang out, have some drinks, maybe play some games. We started out the evening playing Cards Against Humanity.
A little drinking, right?
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember who won.
Oh, way to go. Way to go, Adam.
It wasn't me because
Ruined
I
it.
wasn't there with you.
Yeah, no kidding.
You assholes.
Absolutely ruined it. Either way, that game is heroic. I love it, but when Adam wins, it just ruins it for everyone because his cards suck, but he just somehow wins. But after, we played a little drunk Jenga.
Drunk Jenga. It's a good number 2 to Cards Against Humanity.
It is fantastic. So if you don't know what drunk Jenga is, it is Jenga. You pull out the wooden brick and you set it on top of the stack, the tower. But there's a little twist. On each wooden block, there is written on it a task. Basically, yeah. Totally random.
Drink 6.
So I drew prank call. And it was perfect.
First he drew a draw 4, like Uno. And he had to do all that. They had to cycle through, reverse. Then they had to skip. He got skipped over. He doesn't want to mention that part because he got butt hurt. But
yeah, it was terrible. But my night was made when I drew that wooden block. And I'll tell you, of everything asshole I could possibly do, this was perfect. Because I am a genuine asshole. It even says on my birth certificate, Austin Miles Harrington, asshole. So I drew this and we were thinking, okay, who can I prank call? Because it's getting to 2, 3 a.m. So where do we go? So we're kind of brainstorming. We're like, wait, Adam, you were off out and about.
What set it up first was it's 2 a.m. and we haven't eaten for a good
30 minutes.
Yeah, it's been 30 minutes since our last meal by far. So we're like, well, we obviously need food. So we call the one pizza place, and it's great because we're like, all right, we're on the corner of so and so and so and so. Do you deliver? No, you gotta call this location. We call that location. They say, you gotta call that other location. We just called them. Oh, would you look at the time? We're closed.
Exactly.
What?
Right.
So the pizza place screwed us over. So then Paul's like, all right, we just need tacos. Go get tacos. We need 30 tacos stat. So I go to get tacos.
So then Paul says to me, hey, Taco Bell's obviously open because Adam's got to go there. Why don't we prank call Taco Bell? And I was like, oh, that would absolutely be perfect. Everyone in the room agreed. So we're like, okay, look up the number. We couldn't remember exactly which one it was, but we finally came upon it. I dialed it up, and I was like, guys, got this. Don't even worry about it. So here's the conversation I had with the lady at Taco Bell.
Just wanted to let you know there's a gentleman coming your way. He's wearing a San Francisco 49ers gray hoodie. He's driving a silver Honda Accord, has one light out. He's trying to come and order for his very first time. Has mental disabilities. So if you could just help him with his order, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
So then once Adam gets back, we're like, so did you have a little extra adventure at Taco Bell?
Now, I obviously don't know that just happened, and I'm not thinking about anything. I pull up like a moron at first because I'm looking at the screen.
Because you are a moron.
Well, this is the truth.
You want to tell Dick?
All right, so it's about 2 a.m. Saturday
Why
morning.
wasn't the camera rolling, Dan?
We asked.
Dude, wipe this off
Adam
your
went and
hands.
ran, got some Taco Bell,
With my dude.
been drinking a little bit.
These nuts.
We've asked him
These nuts.
if his experience at Taco Bell was better than normal. Here's what we got.
Alright.
Holy shit.
This dude's naked. He's naked and afraid.
I don't know what that's about.
So here's
This is unrelated matters.
This is. Alright, so here's what happened.
You want some Pelicans?
First of all, I pull up and.
The line was 10 miles long.
No, it wasn't. So it wasn't that long.
Oh, wow.
So here's what happens. I pull up.
Fuck me.
There's a truck that just pulled through. I pull up and she's like, "Hi, can I help you?" And I'm like, "Okay, I need."
Yes, hence why. Here's the guy. Here's the guy that guy
Yeah.
called in about.
So I'm like,
here's like,
all right.
okay.
So like, I need like a lot of tacos.
They were like, we only have $3.
Liter of cola. Do you sell liter of cola? So
for
and
a
she's
cop.
like, yeah, for a cop. Don't say that. So
I'll
I
take
go,
a biggie size.
do you have a 10-pack or a 12-pack? Like, what do you guys have? And she's like, well, we do a 10 with this and this, or a 12 with this. I'm like, I just need 10, and I need half of them hard, half of them soft. But I need like 3 of those. Then as soon as I say that, over the loudspeaker, I hear another lady come over. Wait, what's that? What's that? Like, probably the lady that took the call, I guess. Not looking, but I didn't know. She's like, hold on. So, let me get this straight. You need 10 hard, 10 soft, and then 5 and 5 split up. Is that correct? And she's like overusing her words, talking like this. And I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, yes. So I'm like,
Keep going.
I'm like,
How do
that's
you
what-
really feel, Adam?
I'm like, yes, that's what I need. She's like, okay. Then she tells me the total, and she goes, take your time driving around to the next window. And I'm thinking, and here's why I'm thinking she said that. I thought she said that because she's like, dude, you just ordered 57 tacos. It's gonna be a minute. So give us a second there, Herbie. I thought that's why. Little did I know she meant take your time. You're not usually on your own like this. So I pull up and she's like, would you like some sauce? And I'm like, yeah, you can just throw some in the bag. 2 seconds later, she has all the food, all the bags. I'm like, and she goes, is everything there? Like, I'm like, I'm dumbfounded that it took 8 seconds. So I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, you have a good day.
I'm Miles Harrington, and I prank call approve this message.
Brilliant.
Hashtag the safe space. I have nothing else to say.
So, Adam, of all the things that I've done to you, was that your favorite?
We won't
sounds so
mention we won't mention Cancun. It was a special time.
Ooh, how was Cancun?
Well, you were there.
No, only in my dreams.
No, first of all, I was mad. Really, you pranked the sober guy? That's not fair. But then I was like, I felt like
I was too drunk to care.
I felt like Ron Burgundy. Like, I'm not even mad. Like, you ate the whole cheese ball? I'm not even mad. I'm more impressed. Like, I seriously, that was the best prank that I've ever been a part of. Even if I was on the other end of it.
But then, as the evening wound down, we all went home. When I got home, I was just all about myself. It's about 5 a.m. and I was like, I still want to go out more. So,
And then when we all started getting going, this dude texts everyone. He's like, "I just made a shirt." And I was like, at the last minute, this guy made a shirt. We're growing as a group, and this guy just comes up with a shirt deal business.
So we got to go to the dirt store and buy a 3-pack of white Hanes.
I was nice. I did buy those shirts for you guys,
Yeah,
though.
that is-
I spent $11 on 3 white tees.
Mine was, there was a video that was circulating on Facebook where there was a guy who had a T-shirt that said "Free Hugs," and this is at the Trump rally, and he's going around trying to give hugs to people, and these jerks are just pushing them, shoving them. Get out of here! Nothing's free. Rah, rah. Okay. Then the same guy has the same T-shirt on at the Bernie rally,
Doity-doit.
and people are like, they're having a group hugs, like they're loving them. It's great. High fives, hugs all around. And I just thought it was funny. So my shirt said, "Hugs, $2. Nothing's free." And then on the back, for mocking Donald Trump, like if you're really for Donald Trump, I'm thinking, okay, $5 for slaps. So the back of the shirt says, and it's got our promotion, the Safe Space, follow us on Twitter, what have you. And on the back it says $5 slap. So that was my shirt.
Yeah, my shirt was a play on the Saturday Night Live sketch from Drunk Uncle's Donald Trump episode where
Let's go make America grapes again.
and I'm wondering about half those people in the crowd actually thinking it said "Make America Great Again."
Yeah, because that's what it looked
Make
like.
America great
Especially
again.
when
They
you wear
didn't
a
know.
T-shirt, like if you're positioned a certain way, you can't see every letter and everything, and so it did look like it probably said "Make America Great Again."
Yeah,
But then
absolutely.
it
Yeah.
matched
We
with
didn't
all of
blink
us.
an eye. We noticed, well, we weren't the only ones with epic T-shirts. We go, and this vendor on the side of the street has some pretty epic shirts laying out. One of them said, "Donald fucking Trump." Another one said, "If you don't bleed red, white, and blue, take your bitch ass home." That's pretty much on point.
I guess
of-
we'll have to go home because I don't bleed blue.
Right. We bleed red. We bleed red. And then,
Communists.
of course, the classic Hillary sucks, but not like Monica. And then last, but certainly not least, Trump that bitch.
Love it.
So they were trying to pitch us offers of, hey, well, I can cut you a deal. You can get 2 for 14, but 1 for 10. So they were really trying to sell us on that. But we said, yeah, we're just gonna stick with our
And there were
$11.
There were
shirts.
actually a lot of vendors. Like how many?
There were.
No,
Like a
and
dozen?
and also one of the vendors was actually a Mexican dude selling Trump stuff. I was like, what is going on here? He's like, I gotta make a buck.
Hey, at least he knows nothing is free.
Green's all that matters.
But then we get across the street, and then we see some non-Trump supporters protesting.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. Like, just you hear so much about just from CNN, whatever, MSNBC.
Basically, what the media is
Yeah,
trying to portray
saying
what's
that
going on at Trump rallies.
The rallies is like the Watts riots. Like you would, like it was like
Right,
the
right.
worst thing ever. And we're like, well, it's Fort Wayne, it can't be that bad, and it wasn't.
It wasn't at all. I mean,
Not
it's
at all.
it's Fort Wayne. It's like someone said it. It's like it's Fort Wayne. We're really
We're too polite.
we're too polite. We're too conservative. That people are not gonna. Man, I gotta go to work tomorrow. It was a Sunday. They're like, I can't end up in jail. I gotta go to work tomorrow.
One group made national news. That one group of like kids and stuff made national news.
Oh yeah, they're telling people to fuck off, and they're 8 years old.
You saw some lady
Very
turn
low.
around and like shake her butt at a car that went by. That was
Yeah,
Right.
But other than that, it wasn't.
It wasn't too bad, and we even pulled a guy down that was talking, and we talked to him. And so, obviously, we talked to him about his beliefs. We shared with him some of our beliefs. But then things got kind of good with Juan's shirt.
all right. So when Miles had the great idea to make all these shirts, I went down and started drawing my shirt. And first I had a shirt that said "Deport this." I was gonna do that, but I was like, nah, I really don't want to do that. So then I went with "Dump Trump." Probably should have went with the deport this one. They probably would have let me in with that one, but
Because it was in Spanish.
right. But so I did the dump Trump. So we get all the way through. Police sees me with a shirt on. Actually, there was a guy.
Secret Service.
Yeah, Secret Service was there. And do you guys remember
down.
that guy that was walking towards us, and he's like, "Hey, he's got a dump Trump shirt on. He can't go in. He's got a ticket though, so you can go in." So I wasn't really worried about it. Adam was kind of worried about it at first. He was like, "Yeah, dude, they can refuse anyone to go in."
Now the ticket specifically said no dress code, so we were kind of relying on
and
that
no sign. It's not a sign. It's a
It's
shirt.
not a sign.
Right.
It's a shirt. And
Right.
I made it, but anyway, it's just like in any restaurant business or any bar, you can refuse service to anyone in Indiana. You can do that. I think pretty much anywhere you can do that. But so we get in past security and whatnot. We're going up the escalator, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm in. I'm in with my shirt, right?"
Yeah, we're feeling pretty good.
We're feeling pretty good.
Right, I went in.
And before all of this,
Right.
before all of this, Adam was like, "Dude, really? You're gonna wear that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, dump Trump."
Well, because all of us had shirts that were technically not biased.
Nah, right.
Really,
Right.
we're just kind of making fun of everything. We're just there.
Yeah.
Right.
And didn't show that we were for or against. I put on the back of mine that the writing was so bad because I was drunk on Trump. So if anything, that looked like pro-Trump. And so
But it was a last minute thing, so I ain't
Right.
really had time to think about it. So
You're welcome.
Anyway, that's why I came up with the dump Trump. So continuing on, we are going up the escalator, and like what I was saying to Adam, Adam said, "Dude, really? Are you going to wear this shirt?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Then I thought about it twice, and then I went downstairs and put my hoodie on and put my shirt over it because I was like, maybe he's right. So back to the escalator, we're there. Then all of a sudden, this guy's like, "Hey, stop me! You can't wear that shirt." And I was like, "Okay, all right, I'll take it off." He was like, got kind of upset with me for a second. I'm like, "I'm taking it off."
Yeah, I remember telling him, like, look, we're not going to cause any trouble. Like, we're
Right, and
coming in. We just want to look.
yeah, and he even asked, like, now you're going to behave yourself, right?
You're not going to cause any trouble.
Now, I thought, since, sure, he didn't kick you out, but I thought he was like, I'm going to have to take that from you and throw it away. Because you could have just put it back on.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you guys were egging me on to put it back
That's
on.
what I got.
But
I really want
I'm not going to do that. There's more of them than me, and I'm sorry. I'm the
Inside,
brownest
right.
person here between the four of you. I'm probably going to get tackled. But anyway, so I didn't put it back on, and I was like, "Dude, put it back on. Put it back on."
Right.
Like, I'm not putting this bitch back on. I'm sorry. I'm
Like,
not
easy for you to say. You're
Yeah, right.
And so we walk inside the Coliseum, and one of the first things I noticed that on top of one of the trash cans, there's a sign that says Trump, and it's one of those "Make America Great Again." I was like, this is kind of awkward for this just be laying here. Then I notice on it the word "great" is scribbled out, and it says "Make America Shit Again."
So, yeah, they were taken away and confiscating.
Right.
But, so, first impressions, what did you guys think about the crowd?
It was incredible.
It was a sea of white.
It was. It really was.
Yeah, we counted probably 6 black people,
Yeah.
and I think 2 of them were paid to be there.
There was an Asian,
Because they
and
were
the
cops.
only Mexicans were there were actually working the event.
Right. And then Juan just
And it was
there for
just
the
me.
circus.
I was there for see what was going on.
It got packed though. I mean, there were barely any empty seats. The rafters, basically, the nosebleeds, were cut out, but on the floor, I mean, there were a couple thousand people standing on where the ice rink
They
and the basketball
filled the
court
hockey
would be.
area. Yeah, they
Yeah.
filled the whole area.
13, 14,000 people, probably about. But then Trump shows off and he's like, yeah, we've got already about 15,000 people in here, and we still got another 4,000 or 5,000 waiting outside in line. And this is like 45 minutes into his talk when he's about done. I was like, a little bit of exaggeration there.
Yeah.
Now, do we think that he made that up, or he was told that by somebody who's like, all right, Mr. Trump was here, and we go, so tell him it's 8,000.
May have been a mix of both.
Well,
His ego.
I think what he was trying to do exactly or try to be exactly how Bernie was, because there was I forget where it was on the East Coast. Bernie had a rally at a college, and there were so many people let in, and they were maxed out. But there was like a couple hundred
Oh, is
people
that when he came outside to talk?
and then he came outside and then redid his
And he
speech
addressed the crowd.
outside
That was
and addressed the crowd outside and redid it over again, which was actually really cool, you know,
Yeah.
and he did it, and there was
Yeah, it
actual
is.
video of it, people taking it on their phones,
Yeah.
him doing that. So I think he was trying to do something of that nature, saying that he's got people everywhere.
Oh, Trump would never come outside.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
not at all. And I am the opposite side of the universe politically from Bernie Sanders. But that is showing man of the people. So I can understand that and get on board with that. Whereas you have a guy like Donald Trump being like, okay, tactically, how can I get it done? How can I win? So he went to one of his advisors and said, who could I get from the state of Indiana that would be the best endorsement? And Bob Knight. Bobby Knight. So he obviously had to go into detail about his relationship with Bobby Knight.
Yeah. What did he introduce that in Terre Haute? Where were they when he introduced?
Yeah, so he was in Terre Haute before, and he even said, so guys, we
like
really
Terre Haute,
love
right?
Terre Haute, right? And we're like,
we love Terre Haute.
Guess. Like,
Yeah.
he was kind of waiting to
Awkward.
see what we were going to say.
yeah.
Like,
It was like the
we don't
fish hand
know.
clap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Donald, they're hours away.
Yeah. Like,
It's not New Haven.
Terre Haute, sorry, kind of smells. They execute people there. It's just like, that's kind of the bottom pit hole of Indiana. But he did really have some good liners. And a couple weeks ago, I was able to go on a show with a former political advisor, Jay Severin, and we had a very interesting conversation.
Went to the Trump, not convention, his rally yesterday. I'm not a Trump supporter. I will be voting for Ted Cruz tomorrow. But I just wanted to see the Civic Circus Maximus that was going to take place, and I'll tell you, it lived up. It was one of the most entertaining spectacles I have ever seen.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
When I saw Bobby Knight, and I've seen now 3 of his appearances wall to wall, mostly because I had the time, and so I was able to watch. I was interested. I almost wept. You know, and I have to say that the kind of endorsement that Bobby Knight is giving Donald Trump exceeds in enthusiasm and importance to the voters, evidently, the mealy-mouthed little Governor Pence thing about, I like them all. I don't not like anyone. I wouldn't want to say anything bad about anybody. I guess I'll be voting for, what's his name again? Tom Cruise. I'm not sure, but I don't want to say anything bad about anybody. I can't tell you who to vote for. Then I got that against Bobby Knight. But my question, more fairly, Miles, is all day and just now, again, I've been watching on Fox and CNN the coverage of the rallies, the reactions, the turnouts of you and your fellow Hoosiers to the candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And Fox just couldn't wait to tell people, just now, it was 2 minutes ago, they couldn't wait to do side by side, like what's happening with the turnout today for the 2 candidates. And they said the last Cruz event, which was, I guess, a couple hours ago, had roughly 100 people. The Trump event, which is still, I think, 3 hours away from beginning, I saw they had someone out there today before noon with a camera, Fox did, showing a 4, 5, 6 abreast line down the road, like a mile. There were 10,000 people in line. And and my point really is, and I know you can't answer this, you're not out there measuring them, but do you get a sense that is representative, that's reflective of the general, your sense of the general feeling of enthusiasm, among the general public there in your state?
Absolutely, unequivocally, yes. If Trump doesn't earn, and again, I am voting for Ted Cruz tomorrow, but if Trump doesn't go over 50% tomorrow, I will be surprised. And I say that because before anything, before we're conservatives, before we're Christians, which is overwhelming majority of Hoosiers were basketball fans. They say basketball is the sport of 49 states. It's a religion in one, and that's in Indiana. And we are obsessed with Bob Knight as a state. I'm a graduate of that school. I'm a huge fan of the school. And also, you got to remember, what do we think of Bob Knight as? He's a winner. He's also a loudmouth. He doesn't always speak, quote unquote, politically correct. So now that he's backing Donald Trump,
isn't it?
say,
Wait.
oh,
Let's
well,
for people who don't know
fine.
this, you're hitting on something which is extremely important. I think, Miles. They are two sides of the same coin, are they not? Is not Donald Trump the Bobby Knight of politics or business? Is not Bobby Knight the Donald Trump of basketball?
Yeah, and Donald Trump made a quote yesterday that, made me laugh. I was like, that was actually pretty good. He said, I am the world's best entertainer without a guitar. And he's absolutely right. He really is. And the people,
I just thought the nature
entrenched by it.
I just got the I'm coming by the impression that the nature and magnitude of the response to the public events isn't even close. And when I see that, when I see somebody, and I'm for Ted Cruz, and I have been for years. You should see the tweets I'm getting. Oh, you suck. You're not really for Ted. You're a secret agent for Trump. That's right, because that's what you want to do. Pick a radio show where someone's going to lie to you and tell you only what you want to hear. That's how to get smarter. By all means, pick a radio show with some dope who's going to treat you like a dope and tell you dopey things that you want to hear, not what in fact is true. Or what appears true based on 35 years of experience. So by all means. So now I'm the big anti-Ted guy. I'd be voting for Ted tomorrow too, but I would be worried, Miles, because when I see or hear 100 people are turning out to an event at a diner for Ted, and that there are 10,000 people in line 7 hours ahead of a Trump event, and that one's got Bobby Knight campaigning for him in Indiana, that concerns me.
Well, and another big issue is the fact that Indiana is an open primary, so Democrats can cross over and vote Republican, and I think it's going to have a huge turnout of normally Democrat voters that
that's a great
vote
point.
for Donald Trump. And I will give you an example. I'm not just
if there's any,
that.
let's make this clear. If there's any crossover, you are not going to have Democrats flocking to the polls to vote for Ted Cruz. If you have Democrats running to vote in the Republican primary, it's going to be Trump Democrats.
Sure. And I just want to give an example of that. My family is from Northwest Indiana. I have family that work in steel mills up in Lake County. It's a dark, deep blue area. It's Gary, Indiana, East Chicago, Indiana. And I talked to my cousin. I love him to death, but he is a Stalinist-type Democrat, a big Obama supporter, voted for him twice. And he says to me, if I could vote for one person the rest of my life, it's Donald Trump. And he's saying it's not just him, his colleagues, his fellow union workers, they're all voting for Trump tomorrow. So I think we're going to see
secret, Miles.
A mass
That's
influx.
the secret. Miles, I thank you so much for your call.
So, after we talked, I really explained to him, what I saw at the Trump rally and talked to him about how big of a deal basketball is to Indiana, how big of a deal Bob Knight is to Indiana. And it's like, well, hey, personally, I'll admit I voted for Ted Cruz, but he had no shot because it's the circus of what Trump is. He is a showman. He's a brilliant showman. And you have Ted Cruz, who's just kind of more preachery, and it just really didn't work out for him. And it was a blowout. I said it was going to be over 50%. It sure was.
Yeah.
But Trump's got some rabid fans, man. Like,
they are diehard.
Like, I don't know if you had seen the crowd going like beforehand, would you have still made that shirt, or would you have been a little bit worried?
I think just because I'm from Fort Wayne and I know how the people are here anyway, I was a little confident that I wasn't going to get harassed or like talked down to or anything like of that nature, unless I was actually going and deliberately trying to like make some stuff happen. And I was just walking. I just wanted to see what it was all about. I just wanted to be a part of it and see what was going on. So I don't think so. Now Miles said something, and he said that now if it wasn't like Chicago or New York or something like that, and I wore a shirt like that, there it might be a different story.
Trouble.
Yeah, it was a different story. The masses.
I honestly don't know if it was in like a bigger city. If I would have gone, I don't think I would have been as interested.
Yeah, probably, and just like the zoo of people would have been overwhelming. Whereas we freely walked, we saw maybe 2-3 dozen protesters.
And how many people did we know that we just even went and saw?
We all knew people. People. I talked to a buddy of mine in town. We ran into.
Oh, Bill was there.
Oh, Bill.
Bill was like, "Hey, Adam, you go to softball on Wednesday?"
Good old Bill drink all.
Oh, Bill.
He drank it all before.
Shout out to Bill.
Wild Bill.
Wild Bill.
Bill, I'm missing a lot this year. Sorry. Just playing.
Oh, he's off.
He's off the team.
Spending time with your buddies in Northwest Indiana.
All of us play softball together, and that is a train wreck, as you'd imagine.
We have a little too much fun, but then once we hear his Trump antics, it just makes us all feel better because it is absolutely hilarious.
Did you guys, before Trump came out, and that one dude in the suit was walking down the catwalk, and we're like, "Ooh, there's movement! Like, what's going on?" So we've been waiting for like 20 minutes.
Right.
Did you expect the Fuhrer to come out, dude, light the crowd on fire? He was like Huxley from The Force Awakens. Just like, let's blow up planets and shit.
Right. He's like, and remember, this is the last day of the Republic.
I don't even know that guy's name, but he's more memorable than Trump was.
He walked out, and I'm like, who the hell
no
is
security
this
or
guy?
nothing. Just one guy just moseying down a 50-foot. Like, it was a long.
Yeah, it was like
walk.
a long catwalk. Yeah,
and he was one of his advisors, but he lit up the crowd, and he got him ready to go. Got him ready to go, and I was like, this is a great show. I was entertained, and I was like, okay, I wanted to come here today, see why people really are behind Trump, and I'm like, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah,
he talks a good talk. He might say China 57 times.
Let's say China. 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 I have to have my China. 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 I know China very well. China. 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 I'm from China. 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 I have people that I know in China. 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 I'm from China. 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 I have people that I know in China. 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 I've been saying China. 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 China.
He's gotta have his China.
China, man.
That really is funny.
Who takes the time to remix a video?
Seriously,
like how bored are you?
I wish we had that much time.
We're just mad we could come up with it first.
Whoever's listening right now and can count how many times he said China, comment.
Yeah,
literally. No,
I really want to know.
Now, during his speech, I think he said China more than that video does, and that video is
oh my goodness,
2.5 minutes long.
Probably.
Now, speaking of being butthurt by really being jealous of those guys that made that video, there is another group of 5 kids at that rally that were like, yeah, we're kind of impressed by you. So these kids were probably, I don't know, 15, 16 years old, would you say?
Yeah, sophomore.
Yeah.
And each individual, they had a letter on the front. One was T, R, U, and P. And they wisely figured out, okay, in the front, we can't have the same letter on the back because it'll spell backwards the other way. So the person that had the P had the T, so on and so forth. So they were like, hey, let's get this crowd riled up. So they're standing in the middle of the arena. They go to one side, and they're just like, throw their arms up in the air, and took them a little bit, but they got it going. And literally about 7,000 to 8,000 people sitting in the seats, they got the wave going for a good
A wave
3-4
and a
minutes.
political pioneer, president
They
of the
got
United
people going
States
crazy.
of America.
They got
Civic
people going crazy.
Circus Maximus.
When did the wave die? Wasn't it like in 1989? Like people stopped doing the wave,
I'm surprised those kids even
and then
know
it
what
was
the wave is.
it was resurrected.
I thought
like,
it was when Jaws 3 came out. It's like, don't go in the water.
But it was kind of impressive, and it's like that's all you got to do. Just get them fired up. If you can give them, bread and circus, they'll be happy with you. They'll vote for you.
Good Lord.
So that was obviously one of the most entertaining events the four of us have been to. But then the next day, Juan and Adam had their own experience at the Bernie rally.
Yeah, we sure did. But before we get into that, because I wanted to touch on what kind of music was actually played at both rallies. Now, when we were at the Trump rally, all the music that was played there was all kind of like
It was Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones, Elton John,
non-Americans.
all non-American people, all non-American people, or a little bit of AC/DC was played, some stuff like that was played. It was all like that kind of music. But then going to the Bernie rally, all you heard was like Bob Marley. You heard the Beatles,
Pearl Jam,
Bruce Springsteen. You heard all this type of music.
Boss.
So you heard the Boss at a Bernie rally. But it was pretty interesting. So Adam, what were your takes on from what you got to see? Because you were there very short.
Yeah, I had to get back to work. So I was in with the crowd, which I feel like I still smell like a hippie because it was pretty hippie in the crowd. And I got up close. Like, I was probably in like the 20th row, and I got there really late. I just made my way up towards more the front. Everyone was really cool. Like, they were all excited. They were more younger on average, and if they were older,
well, it was at IPFW, so
and that's true. It was at a college where, when we were at Trump, was in a big arena, the Coliseum, for sporting events and concerts like Elton John. So maybe that's why they had to play Elton John. They signed a contract where they had to play Elton John. Yeah, he won't come back to play a concert there.
The
You
funny
have to play
thing
Tiny
is,
Dancer once a week.
it was just in the news that Rolling Stone asked the Trump campaign to stop playing their music at
because
their
they don't
rallies.
support him, yeah.
Really?
Right. And Trump said, "I can play whatever I want."
Well, and he said, well, our campaign, we do all things we need to do to get the copyright in order to play it. So that's
They
also
can
out there,
do
but it's
whatever they
like, just play American music. You're running to be the president of America.
Make America great again by playing
Rolling
artists
Stones.
that don't live or are from this country.
hilarious.
But now, talking about the Bernie rally, I did see on the news as I was working at a TV in my office, there was a girl, probably a college student, went up to her friend and started twerking on her.
The camera had to
TV.
quick, get off.
moved.
Look at something else. Look at this old guy in his beard.
I guess she probably then smelled too.
There was definitely a smell, and it just smelled like the 70s. That it just smelled that way. But they were very passionate. You could tell they were super excited. Bernie, honestly, I thought from what I heard about 20 minutes of him talk, he actually had more of a plan. Trump just said the same things and then repeated it and then said, "It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. No, trust me, it's going to be great."
Every Trumpster has words.
But yeah, sometimes 2 words, sometimes 1 word. It's great.
But they're the best words.
But they're the best words. It's going to be
Terrific
great.
words.
The Trump sentence is going to be great. It's going to be great. And I'm going to tell you we're going to be great. Now, it's going to be great. It's a Trump sentence. But Bernie actually says things and doesn't repeat them over and over and makes it seem like why the things that he wants, he makes you feel like we should have been having these things already. Affordable college, more rights for women. He makes you feel like, oh, yeah, he has a point. Shouldn't we already be doing these things? So I can see why he has a following too, because even though I don't think he has a chance to win, just me personally, not saying I wouldn't vote for him, just saying I don't think the way the math works out in the Electoral College and things like that, I don't think he has a chance. But I do see why people follow him, just like I do see why people follow Trump. I'm not saying I'm for either of them, but I see why they're popular.
And just some things that I saw, just comparing the two at the Trump rally. Once Trump started talking, everyone sat down. When Bernie started talking, everyone still stood up.
Yeah.
Everyone was still standing up. I mean, there was an older couple sitting next to me, probably in their late 50s, probably creeping into their 60s, and stood up the whole time.
Wow.
Not one person sat down. No, not one. I didn't see a person that sat down. They stood up for the whole time.
I guess I didn't notice that because I was
You were in a standing area
already.
But
So
I was up in like
that,
the bleachers part where they
Yeah.
play basketball, but I could see everyone. And I'm taking video. I'm live on Facebook, and I could see every single person standing up. And that was the total difference. Like, stand up for the person that you really want to see win, and then other people that just like, all right, do what you want.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit down and watch the show. That's basically what it was for me.
Sure. So could you make a rough guess of how many people were in, not just their total, but in the bleachers that could have been sitting down but stood up instead?
Like
over 1,000.
Over 1,000 people.
Were standing who were in the bleachers.
Yeah.
Over 1,000
for sure.
I would say.
Well, that's just interesting to think about. Just, that's probably part of their passion. Subconsciously, they don't even think about it, but that's just how much they're into them. Oh, I want to see them. I want to be on my feet for them.
It was definitely cool to go to both.
Did you see the wave?
There wasn't a wave.
So yeah, I did see some of the protesters talking about if Trump wins, he's going to start World War III. Have you guys heard that? Like, because he's going to piss off Russia and China and China. And we're going to find ourselves just in this political mess. But outside of World War III, guys, there's currently a civil war going on in your local theater. Did you guys know that? Over in Marvel?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Marvel world.
And the two sides are
Team Cap
and Team Iron Man.
Meh.
What side do you take?
America. I tried Europe for a little while. Didn't work out. America.
That's kind of funny because when you said that, like you were in East Europe.
Malesh.
Yeah, when Malesh was in East Europe. How Civil War. Okay, so we're going to spoil the shit out of this movie, by the way.
So if you're still listening, I'm not going to say it.
Fuck
this
you.
In Civil War in big block letters, it said Berlin, didn't it? It was all over the place.
They're in Europe.
So, first impressions.
I thought it was a fantastic movie. It was well put together. Like we said before, in these Marvel movies, DC is just going to be a darker type of feel. Marvel's just going to be very fun, colorful, and going to have good one-liners where you're going to leave the theater saying them over and over again. And it was just a well put together movie.
So our big, we enjoyed. I mean, you can't help but compare this to Batman vs Superman, right? Because they're only like weeks apart, the release date, and we all liked the first movie. But our big kind of critique of it was how sloppy and the writing was shitty.
Batman, right?
Right. This was kind of the opposite, right? I mean,
Yeah, the storyline was a lot better. And it's more, we had this discussion before about Marvel movies being fun with the one-liners, and by nature, that's what they are. And by nature, Batman is more dark. So you're always going to get that automatically. But even so, it was still better. It was still better. Even if you throw that part out the window.
Hands down.
It doesn't even come close.
A better movie. And just like what Batman vs Superman tried to do, and tried to like bring, the Dark Knight Returns, part 1 and 2, and then a little bit of dash of this and that. And with movies these days, especially trying to do a comic book movie, they don't want to do everything like frame by frame that's in a comic book, because it just won't be fun. And people that are comic book lovers like myself and already know how stuff happened, they have to change them up. Just like how they do in Walking Dead. They change things up and how characters end up, or some end up living and some don't. And they just have to do it just to make it that, those people who have already read the books can, get a different perspective. But what DC did with Batman vs Superman was the writing has a lot of holes in it. I mean, it was a good movie, but it had a lot of holes in it. Now we go into Civil War. And Paul and I were talking about Civil War, and the only thing that was the same about Civil War was the name and what else?
I don't remember.
The people that are in it. There's a couple people that are the comic book characters that are in it, but everything else was everything was a little,
the actual comic Civil War versus the movie Civil War.
Right.
No, it was pretty tight to exactly what it was, which was Iron Man essentially being for the registration of superheroes and being under control of the government, which is completely from the comic.
Right.
And Captain America saying America and wanting his freedom.
Right. Well, I mean, they kept that aspect about it, but there were just things that they kept that flow part of it where it was just Cap versus Superman versus Iron Man, but the undertone of it of like what was actually happening in the comic books really didn't match up what was actually going on. But they did a really good job at it was really
no, it was almost like the way the new Star Wars movie gave a tip of the cap or a nod to episodes 4, 5, and 6, like a salute.
Mm-hmm.
This was like, I felt a salute to the comic. Like, hey, we're gonna make Vision and
Scarlet
Witch kind of have a thing, because in the comic they have kids. So in the movie, hey, we're going to give that a nod. We're going to have the viewers see, when they look in each other's eyes, we're going
to put the Vision in a Cosby sweater. He's going to make dinner.
Dude. That was hilarious.
In my defense, I've never eaten anything.
He's going
so Vision makes a meal, and he's doing it word for word out of the cookbook.
For the recipe.
And he's not a human being, so he doesn't eat food. So she tastes it, and you can see in her eyes, like, it's not that good. And he goes, well, in my defense, I've never eaten before.
He does always have that one great one-liner from Age of Ultron, the movie before.
Well, I was born yesterday.
Jeez.
Hey, I was born at night, but not last night.
And that dry English, like Paul Bettany humor.
Yeah, he's good.
Really good.
So to really spoil the shit out of this, Captain America wins. And I always thought...
I mean,
you think so?
Well,
yeah, I get that vibe.
He could have kept going, and Tony was helpless.
That's true.
He could have kept going,
killed him.
so that's why, Which, he can't kill him when you're supposed to be the one who dies.
Right. And that was the whole thing I've
in
been
the comic,
told.
he dies.
Right.
So,
and I never read the comic. I'm illiterate, so of course I couldn't read it. But via Juan, he told me that Captain America dies. And I was like, really? I mean, I expected him to win.
America grapes again.
He's the freedom guy. He's got to win.
No, he's Captain Puerto Rico.
But then at the end of the movie, I almost said Trump. Tony Stark. Tony Trump. Tony Stank. Tony Stank.
Yes. He's like, I'm not going to let that go. I'm going to use that.
Tony Stank's talking with his buddy, the other Iron Man, and they're saying, man, that's a tough beat. So I hear that. It's like, well, they lost.
That was Stan Lee who said, is Tony Stank here?
Which is great, because
he was a FedEx guy.
Stan Lee is always in these movies as random characters, like a grandfather, a UPS delivery truck driver,
a DJ in a stripper joint,
a guy,
Deadpool.
a guy playing chess with another grandpa, just whatever.
Growing up, I thought he was Hugh Hefner. I really did. I always got them confused. I didn't know the difference.
That's our next podcast. Who has more money?
I think Stan Lee got more girls.
Right? Who has more money, Stan Lee or Hugh Hefner?
Stan Lee. Hugh Hefner's magazines aren't even showing nudies anymore.
But Tony
he
Trump
discontinued the magazine.
Didn't he?
No, I think but they do other stuff. They have like television channels.
Well,
it's just different.
Marvel's got that Disney money now. So.
Yeah, they do. That's like that Oprah money, or the person's name you only use their first name.
and speaking about someone getting Disney money, Spider-Man, dude.
I love how.
Baller.
So some more spoilers. I love how when they talk about Spider-Man in the movie, all of a sudden he's Spider-Man already, because we don't need to see him get bit by a freaking spider. Everyone, if you hate Spider-Man and you're not even enjoying this part of the podcast, you know the story of Spider-Man. Everyone knows that Spider-Man is a kid in high school who gets bullied, and then he gets bit by a spider and can do amazing things. We don't need to see that in this movie. It's already 2.5 hours.
Even ISIS knows that.
So I like that they just went right into it.
And that part was great because it starts again with the big block letters, Queens, and we all knew what was coming.
Yeah,
We're like,
yeah.
It just shows a kid
Yeah.
with a backpack on walking.
Yeah,
You're
right.
like, oh, Spider-Man.
Yeah,
That's Peter
that's
Parker.
Peter.
It was an
Right. It was
actual
great.
teenager, and he's wearing a pizza shirt.
Yeah.
And when he
Yes.
fights Captain America, and he says, "Where you from, kid?" And he says, "Queens," and then he
Right.
goes, "Huh?" He looks down, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Like
But,
that's cool.
Aunt May though.
Marissa Tomei.
Tomei.
So Marissa Tomei is in
Doggy.
you talk funny.
my cousin Vinny.
I was so excited that I got to see Marissa Tomei in 3D. And probably my favorite part of being able to go see the movie was adding to my collection of 3D glasses. So everyone knows that I'm the least of us that's into comics, but these guys really got me into it.
I thought he was going to say the least of us in general. Which I agree. I
Just
got
'cause
no
I'm the
arguments here.
youngest.
Proceed.
So I decided that back when I was in college, I was going to start a 3D and IMAX glasses collection because I'm like, this is going to be worth billions of dollars someday for no apparent reason.
Yeah, because they make you turn them in. I mean, you're supposed
Yeah,
to.
so I'm going
Or
rogue.
recycle them.
$16 for this. No, you're not getting it back.
Especially those big ones for like IMAX. I'm keeping those.
Come on, man. They look cool. That was my Facebook profile picture for like 8 weeks straight.
So I decided to be like Captain America and stick it to the man and just keep all those glasses. So I always have 2 or 3 emergency pairs of 3D glasses and 1 pair of emergency IMAX glasses in my car at all times because you never know when you just might need it. And might have to give one to Adam when he tries to sneak in the side of a movie theater.
Right.
Which he'll always try to be the one, hey guys, let me in.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess that really started. I was dating a girl back in college, and I was in Hamilton County, your favorite place.
Oh.
And Titanic was coming out in IMAX. And I was like, okay, it should be pretty cool. I don't care about the movie, even though it's a classic.
They hyped it. They did.
You saw
they
that
did hyping
long,
Titanic.
dry ass movie?
And
you never saw Titanic?
No, I saw it.
Okay,
I didn't see it
then.
until it came out on
He's
VHS.
going front on it, but like, well, yeah, I saw it.
I ain't seen it in the theater.
I mean, I saw it. I mean,
that long dry ass movie.
What
Bring
are
on
you, Day
the
from
water.
Friday? Well,
We
they
know what's
can.
happening. Just bring on the water.
They tens, but I keep it clean.
Rose laying there naked was like 50 feet long. It was the biggest boob I've ever seen in my life.
Jesus.
So I was like, okay.
I didn't expect that.
I at least got to make something out of it. So I was like, these glasses are awkward, but they're kind of cool. It's the first time I had ever worn IMAX glasses because there wasn't one in Fort Wayne yet.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I'm going to keep this. And it just kind of progressed from there. And now that they got those virtual reality, the VR goggles out now, I'm obsessed.
So you watched that movie, was it A Place of Business?
It was, but I really just wanted it to be a place of rest.
Shout out to podcast number 3. Hopefully you saw that.
I'm shaking my head.
Paul's just arms crossed.
Yeah.
But he's not as pissed as Juan was when that lady behind us while watching
Oh my
Civil
God.
War.
Dude, I looked over at Paul sitting right next to me and I'm
Okay.
like, dude, are you serious?
Here, so imagine.
I don't know.
Okay,
Sitting there trying to enjoy the
15
movie.
15 straight minutes? How long?
Oh, it
No, I'm
felt
not
like
done yet.
it felt
Hold
like
on.
the whole movie.
hold on, guys. I'm not done yet. Now she's trying to open something illegally that she brought in because no movie theater. This is legit. I'm still going. Now I was about to say, eat something else, lady, but Juan actually spoke up.
I turned around and said, "Are you done yet?"
And then she stopped for a little bit and started again.
She tried to do it under
was
her
terrible.
chair, so we really couldn't hear it.
It's almost
we could
like
hear it.
it's almost like if you're on your phone and it's during a dark scene, so it's brighter, and you realize it's bright, and you're like, oh shoot! So you try and like tilt it a little bit towards your side so that it doesn't
Like
make
put it underneath your shirt.
Yeah,
and
so
go
it's not as
underneath.
bright. That's what this lady was doing with her sounds.
So the Civil War ended with no casualties. Nobody died. Except
Well,
for Mufasa.
The Emancipation Proclamation. I mean,
I don't listen to hip hop.
Operation Black Shield.
haven't Haven't you ever heard of the Emancipation Proclamation?
That's too funny.
Oh, that's a classic.
I have to go see that again. Civil War, bigger, longer, and uncut.
Star featuring Donald Trump.
And what you can bring in illegally to the theater? Cheesy poof.
So if you haven't seen it, go see Captain America Civil War like yesterday.
Right now.
See it twice. Go. Don't bring any trash bag candy bars to the place because you're going to piss everybody off. And, yeah, go vote for whoever the fuck you want to vote for. I'm Paul Zico, Dinosaur Hunter.
Dinosaur Dead, Miles Harrington.
Adam Marino.
It feels right. Fellas, safe space?
Safe space.
Dude, that accordion was on.
Yeah.